Rise and shine, beloved. Rise and shine. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Rise and shine. Yes, let me just pull this up so that I can make sure that we're here. Take this moment. Go ahead and tag your friends, your family members. Let them know Spiritual Success TV is live. All right. With that being said, we're going to do what we do over here. Y'all know the drill. Come on, let's activate what I call the success mind. And we're going to do that by sitting feet flat, back straight, hand on heart, if you will, and take a good healing deep breath in and exhale and relax. Allow yourself to relax from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. Even let the tongue in your mouth relax. That sends a signal to the whole body to relax. Shoulders down from your ear. Breathe. Turn the focus inward now. Tap in to the rich inner life of the kingdom of God that is within us. So thankful that we could tap in. One more for the power of 3. Healing deep breath in and exhale. Let's just open up those hands in receipt mudra, and let's just give some gratitude and some thanksgiving as you bow your head and just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for another day, for another opportunity. We are here. We are here. We are here. All right, lovelies, come on in. Great Grand Rising, Brian. Thanks for joining us live today. Glad you had safe travels and you're home safely. All right, lovelies, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, aunties, sisters, grandmas, great grandmas, spiritual moms, pastoral moms. We just want to say happy Mother's Day to everyone. And I pray that you all are celebrating. And Brian, I commented under your post to Fran. I miss my friend. I used to call her my big girl. I miss her. But it was good that you posted that picture. All right, lovelies, let's come on in. Now, I want us to be very interactive today. And I'm going to wait for a few more people to come in, but doing just to honest Mother's Day is a couple things I want to know from you. So we're going to be very interactive. I want you to share with me one thing your mom taught you or showed you how to do. For me, I remember being about maybe 12 or 13 years old, and I remember my mom teaching me how to cut up a whole chicken. Yeah, I'm going there. Things like that. Things that you remember that your mom taught you, right? And she taught me how to cut up a whole chicken. And to this day, well, I don't eat chicken anymore, but that served me well throughout my life. So tell me, if you don't mind, Grand Rising Lisa, thanks for joining. Tell me something that your mom taught you or something your mom showed you how to do that's still serving you well. That's still serving you well, right? Thank you, Lisa. Happy Mother's Day to you. Yes, thank you, Brian. You know, Brian, I love you so much. Over the years, you have never forgotten me for my birthday, for Mother's Day. God in heaven knows, and I hope you know too, Brian, how much I love and appreciate you. And I do believe that we'll connect again very soon. All right. Mama taught me to never leave home and go out of town without my house being spotless. Oh, I love it, Brian. Yes. You know, I do that too. Because who wants to come back home to a house that's not clean, especially after staying in luxury 5-star hotels? Who wants to do that? And I'll take it one further. I would never even go out to preach if my house wasn't clean. That's that thing, having everything in order. Come on, somebody else. Tell me one thing your mom taught you. Mine's what she taught me how to cut up a whole chicken into 8 pieces, right? Brian's mom taught him never to leave home without making sure his house was spotless. Who else? Tell me something that your mom taught you that you never forgot and it still serves you well to this day. And then, number 2, I want you to tell me something that your mom said. Either it was a saying, It was a piece of nugget and wisdom. And mine's is kind of like not G-rated that my mom taught me that I never forgot. So I don't know if I'll share it on this platform today, but I never forgot it. Yeah, somebody said share it, share it. Yeah, I will. But it had to do with having frivolous sexual intercourses. And she said, never forget, after a man is done with you, if he doesn't love you, he could just take his foot, roll over, take his foot, and kick you right out the bed. That made an impact on my little young teenage mind. All right. That never ever left me. All right. That was a little not G-rated. Somebody else, a lesson that your mom taught you, something she said that you never forgot. All right. And somebody said, Dr. E, there were some bad lessons in there too. I know there were some lessons that was just pre-programmed from what they learned and from their ancestors, right? Okay, something your mom said, something she taught you, a lesson. I want to say this. My son came by, my son and my daughter-in-law came by yesterday with the grands, and we were just sitting around reminiscing, talking, and my youngest grandson is 8 years old, Josiah. And I was telling them how resourceful I was as an 8-year-old. I was already an entrepreneur. I shared that with you guys. And as he was in here just rolling around on the floor playing, in his own world, just playing, I said, could you imagine him all out in the street, all out in the neighborhood? Because I was a roamer. Y'all know I was adventurous, right? Doing all of that on his own. I was working. I was self-employed, working for myself at 8 years old. Somebody said, how, Dr. E? I would go through the neighborhood, knocking on people's door, asking them, do you need any help? Just as simple as that. Do you need any help? I'm going somewhere with this today because it's going to tie into our theme that we're continuing with, navigating the gap and asking, what are you programming your life to experience, right? Grand Rising, Reese, happy Mother's Day to you, right? And we're sharing one thing. I want you to tell me, Reese, one thing you learned from your mom that she taught you that still serves you well today, or something she said, a lesson that you learned, a word of wisdom, or anything. And for most of us in the Black households, in the Black Pentecostal household, our moms gave us religion, gave us faith, gave us a belief in Jesus Christ, right? Okay. So at 8 years old, I would just do that. I would go through the neighborhood, knock on people's doors and ask, do you need any help? Of course, it was a different day. It was a different time. And I would go in, and I remember scrubbing baseboards, right? Washing dishes, doing those kind of tasks, and they would tip me. They would pay me. I learned at 8 years old how to be resourceful and how to get out in the world and make happen whatever I need to make happen, right? Lisa said, my mom taught me how to cook, how to be an entrepreneur, and she told me to make sure use the bathroom before leaving the house. Yes, yes, yes. Lisa is my sibling. She is the baby in the family. Love Lisa. And yes, our mom was an entrepreneur. She was a queen entrepreneur with those 14 kids. Can I take a moment to just pay homage to my mom, Wilhelmina, Corrine? 14 children, natural child born, 14 children. And with all that, she was an entrepreneur. Had businesses, social clubs, gave social events. I remember as a little kid, she put us to work as well, right, Lisa? I remember her getting all of these candies like Katydids. I don't know if y'all remember Katydids. They're the chocolate covered caramel peanut clusters. It was a company called Katydid, and she would order them by the case and give it to us, and we would go out in the neighborhood and sell Thin Mints. She would order them by the case. We would go out in the neighborhood and sell. But she started businesses. She owned homes. She was into real estate. And my late husband, Frank Preston Jr., she started a trucking company with them, with him, my brothers, and they became long distance truck drivers. I'm telling you, she was resourceful and very entrepreneurial, right? So come on, tell me something that your mom taught you, or a lesson that you learned, or a pearl of wisdom that's still serving you today. Right. Reese said, let me think, there's so much. Yes. Yes, there's so much. My mom was an entertainer. I was reminiscing with my brother, and we were talking about when I was like 6 years old. I remember so much company always coming to the house, tons of her cousins. And I could see these people so clearly and so vividly. And those are my ancestors, guys, that makes up the cloud of witnesses that's cheering me on today. I could feel the help. I could feel them cheering me on. Grand Rising, Andrea, thanks for joining us live. So watch this. Lessons that we've learned, things that our parents, our tribe instilled in us coming up. We want to just pay homage. Come on, I'm waiting for a couple more of y'all. I want you to honor your mom. Something she said, something she taught you that's still serving you well. And so things that we have heard growing up, rather positive or negative, it stayed with us. Now, some of the things that I had to work through that helped shape my shadow side was growing up hearing things like, so-and-so was born under a lucky star, meaning that in order to be successful, you had to be born under a certain star, or they had that it factor. I understand what that means today, but I didn't understand what it means to that. I remember remember money don't grow on trees, right? Brian said that anything you're going to take time to do needs to be done correctly. So good. And to the best of our ability the very first time, or don't touch it until, oh, that is so good. It will be completed that way. Brian, that's good. That's a lesson that we can learn. Grand Rising, Marcus, thanks for joining us live today. Yes, Marcus, we're asking the question, give us one thing that your mom taught you, or a lesson you learned, or something she showed you that is still serving you well today. All right? Still serving you. Brian, that is a good one. Let's take a minute and breathe that in and thank Brian's mom for that. Anything that you're going to take time to do, I'm going to eat and digest that even for myself, because we're in a new growth stage. Remember, that was the prophetic word that came through last week. We're in a new growth stage. I want to soak that in. Anything that you are going to take time to do needs to be done correctly and to the best of your ability the very first time. I love that. Or don't touch it until it will be completed that way. That means go and have a mindset. Yes, to do it right. Mark, don't let anyone steal your joy. Yes, Mom Dorothy Guy, thanks for giving homage to your mom, right? Who had a favorite auntie, godmother, pastoral mom that instilled something in you that this day you have never forgotten? Yep. And so we're so thankful for those lessons, right? So thankful for those lessons. I remember this. I'm going to tell one more, and then we're going to get back to part 3 of navigating the gap, right? I remember my mom demonstrating this and showing me this, right? And Wilhelmina was something else. I remember one day somebody in the neighborhood, it was an adult, came and knocked on the door and was upset about something. Who knows? Maybe some of us kids did something outside. I don't remember. But they knocked on the door and they were just going dap, 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 fussing. Dap, 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 dap. And my mother stood there, expressionless, and just stood there and said nothing. And stood there and said nothing. And when the lady paused and took a breath, she simply said, "Is that all?" "Yes, that's all." "Good day." Closed the door. And she taught me, she said, nothing gets under people's skin more than being ignored. And she went about her business. Now, that was her way. She did not watch this. This is what I teach to this day, that there's a difference between reacting and responding. And she did not react. When you react, you go to the level of the energy coming at you. She refused. What she was teaching me is don't let people drag you down or pull you into their level of craziness, right? You don't react, but you respond. And her response is, what did I used to tell y'all at New Life? That's too low for me. That's too low for me. That was her response. I'm staying the regal queen that I am. I'm staying on my throne of regal authority. And I will not give you my power. I will not give you my energy. I will not give you my attention. And so for those of you all, I know some of us react to every little thing that goes on, every little thing that happens. But I'm telling you, it's nothing like ignoring you. Andrea said, I honor my mom for listening to the Holy Spirit. Yes, when she was pregnant with me. If she would have not known the voice of the Lord, we both would not be here. I'm grateful I have a mom that is spiritual. Yes, yes. That is spiritual, prophetic, and highly angelic. Oh, that's beautiful, Andrea. Yes. Thank God for being here. Yes, yes, yes. For listening to the voice of God and allowing you to be here. So we're asking the question again, right? How are you programming your life experiences? So we're still talking about navigating the gap. This is part 3, navigating the gap. When you're in that lower place of 3D, when you are being bombarded with what the world is offering, how are you navigating? Now, I want you to talk back to me. And this is for the big boys and girls. This is for those of you who have left mindset misery, your spiritual intelligence quota, have left the victimhood where you're pointing the finger at everybody and blaming everybody. I want you to be honest and tell the truth, right? Be vulnerable. Be visible today. Be vulnerable. Share something and that you have programmed yourself to consistently experience, that you recognize, I'm creating this. I'm creating this based on how I think, right? How I feel, how I believe. What is an experience that you create, that you have experienced, all right? So I always give myself as an example. When I was that child entrepreneur, right? And I was venturing out, I wasn't afraid to get out and go and knock on people's door and earn what I needed to earn. But those of you that's been following me, you know that as an 8-year-old entrepreneur, it was preceded by a traumatic and impactful 6-year-old event of me going out and venturing out and not being properly groomed, right? Getting a visceral reaction from people that I internalized something was wrong with me at that level of rejection. So that's my 6-year-old self. Now here's my 8-year-old self going out as an entrepreneur. I was still adventurous, still wanting to get out. But what I taught myself how to do was fear exposure, right? Fear exposure. So I would go out, I would work, I would earn enough money so that I could go buy whatever I wanted to eat, French fries, potato chips, 5-cent icy, devil dogs. For those on the East Coast, you know what that was. That's what I was creating in my life. Yes, Pop. Yes, Andrea. Ooh, good, good, good. Some of y'all agree with Andrea. Give me some thumbs up and some hearts if you know what she's talking about. When you create these things, she said poverty, lack, homelessness, and repossession. Andrea, that is so good. That's what I was creating in my life. This is when you start maturing and you're out of mindset mastery. Because now you're not blaming mama, daddy, sister, husband, spouse, life partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, hookup partner. You're not blaming anyone. That's our spiritual success law, number 1, right? I will not blame anyone or anything for what appears to be lacking. So what I was creating was the same thing. I was creating scarcity, a belief in scarcity or getting or earning just enough. Just go and earn enough so that you can survive. And I carried that into adulthood. Brian says, Pastor Sanders taught me to ask myself if my response to a situation is going to affect the outcome. If not, then consider not responding and giving up the right to be right. Ooh. I really do still ask myself, okay, wow. I still really do ask myself this question today before responding to situations. That is so good. And that, Brian, keeps you from reacting and giving your power. Now, that's maturity. Somebody talk back to Brian, give him some thumbs up, give him some hearts, some love. That takes maturity when you give up your right to be right. That's when you come out of the ego mind, flesh mind, carnal mind, whatever language works. That's when you come out of that kind of living and you go to your heart. And you go to your heart and you wait for to see what the response would be, right? What is the response going to be? The response is always going to empower you and not take away from you. Come on. Who else? What have you noticed and you become consciously aware that you have programmed yourself to experience in life? This is still navigating the gap, because once you awaken and you wake up from that, now Andrea is awake because she has the conscious awareness. Okay, I see where I created that, because I'm believing that either I'm not worthy to have it, I'm not able to maintain it. If it's good, I can't keep it. Whatever the internal dialogue was. This is what I want you guys so aware of, that internal dialogue that's coming from your belief system, that's coming from your emotional and mental realm, that's coming from your hormonal responses, that's creating the wires that's firing off in the brain, creating that neural pathway in the brain for you to consistently experience the same thing. And the first stage is awareness. You have to be consciously aware of what you are creating and not blaming anyone else. I take 100% responsibility for my spiritual success. I will not blame anyone or anything, not a system, not a government, not an employer. Come on and go with me. Somebody talk back to me. You could always blame the job. You could blame your boss, your supervisor, your co-workers, the system. Beloved, you have to let go of that blame, because no one has more divine sovereignty than you. No one and nothing in this 3D realm is more sovereign than me. Come on, can you type for me in the chat? I am sovereign, I am divine. Come on, beloved. No one and nothing. It's not the job. It's not your supervisor. It's not the system. Is that stuff real in reality in 3D? Yes, it is. But beloved, I want you to practice this mantra. That's not my story. That's not my story. Come on. That's not my story. Amanda Lee, love you. Happy Mother's Day. I was thinking about you about 2 days ago. You know I miss you. Yes, that's not my story. That's not my story. Don't blame anyone or anything for what appears to be lacking in your life, because if it's showing up consistently, beloved, you are the creator of it. So you said, I am sovereign, I am divine, and now say, I am a creator. I want you to say, I am a master creator. Because good, bad, or indifferent, right? All the things that we are experiencing consistently, we are creating it. So we become master creators. I want you to see yourself as a master creator. Good, bad, or indifferent, you're creating it. So when we talk about navigating the gap and being able to navigate successfully through 3D experiences, you have to first have an awareness of what you're creating. And then when you awaken, that gives you the ability to create something different. Y'all better talk back to me. Like you said, that's not witchcraft, that's your craft. Yes, Andrea. Yes. Especially in the Black Pentecostal Apostolic Church, we are big on calling everything witchcraft. That's not witchcraft. That's your craft. That's your thoughts. That's your belief. So on this day, Amanda, we are honoring our moms in whatever way we can. Anything your mom taught you, showed you, or a life lesson that is serving you well even today. And we have things that's not serving us well, things that we had to work through from our bloodlines and our ancestors and all of that, right? And I started talking about one like money don't grow on trees, or you have to be born under a certain star. You're not born under a lucky star. All these things that you grow up hearing, and you have to start navigating through this low-level experience that you're having in your life. And this is big, beloved. As Brian was saying, that when you give up your right to be right, that starts bringing you into maturity. When you give up your right to be right, you realize you don't have to operate on a low level that other people are engaged in. Because why? You're flowing from within. You're flowing from within, from the inside out. And it is a beautiful thing. I want all my new, I was getting ready to say new lifers. Yes, my new lifers, my SSLers, all of my spiritual success life clients and students. Y'all talk back to me. Isn't it a wonderful thing when you come into real power and you can stand in your sovereignty? You can stay seated in a position of authority. To be seated is a position of authority, right? When you can stay in your sovereign divine power and not be moved by what you see, not be moved by what you hear. You're not running after what's popular, what's trending, but you can anchor yourself. Amanda says, my mom taught me through her life that provision always come through. Amanda, yes, that is a lesson that my kids and my siblings get from me as well. That I demonstrated and modeled that everything always works. Can somebody talk back to me? Give Amanda some thumbs up, and let's honor her mom for demonstrating that. Provision always come through. And Amanda, you have that. Yes, you live that. Last mom teaching, Brian, I'm loving it. If you ask, my mom was big on this one too. If you ask to lend money, ask yourself if you'll be okay if you don't get it back. If the answer is yes, then lend it. If so, lend it if so desired. But it is foolish to fall out with people. That's me, Brian, 100%. Yes, it's foolish to fall out with people over something as unimportant as money. That was big on my mom as well. That is a principle that I live by. And I really, as a principle, as a general principle, I don't lend money. I prefer to give money. I will lend money here and there to maybe one or two people that I'm very close to, that they have a solid, stable financial life. And the reason they're asking to borrow has nothing to do with lack, has nothing to do with that, right? I would lend. I'm just making the thing that I would lend in that kind of an instance. But as a rule of thumb, I don't lend money, I give it. Because I don't want to look for money once I released it. I remember my mentor one time, I was sharing with her how a person I was acquainted with, we split the expenses to go to a retreat or something like that. And she did not stick to her part of the agreement and left me holding the bag. That's another way of lending as well. Trusting people. So it was something like upwards of $2,500, maybe $3,000 that I was left with. So because I lived my life by this principle, and I said to my mentor at the time, still my mentor today, this was a long time ago, I said, it's okay, she doesn't have to pay me back. And she looked at me and said, what do you mean she doesn't have to pay you back? I said, the money's gone. that iteration of money was gone. But I understood that money is currency. And when you release money, it comes back. So I don't like the feeling, and y'all talk back to me. I don't like the feeling. I don't like the feeling of holding on to money once I release it out of my hand. So when I loan money to somebody, it's like I'm still holding on to it because I'm expecting that to come back and I'm looking for it to come back. I'd rather just give it to you. If I have it to give, just give it to you. And that's an excellent principle, Brian. If you can't afford to let that money go and lend it without it hurting anything, if you can't afford that, then don't lend it. Why are you going to fall out with somebody over money? God knows I love that principle. I live by that, right? And Marcus says that mom's teaching, give me my flowers while I'm living. Also, start like you're going to finish. I love that. I love that. I love that. Yes, Miss Dorothy, guys, start like you're going to finish. All of this that Fran said and Brian said, I'm taking it in for myself. Now I'm eating and digesting as well. This is why I love us interacting, because I feed you and you feed me. Because we're in a new growth stage, beloved, because we're in a new growth stage, these are two principles I want to hold for myself. Because remember last week I shared how I had blocked off some time to do some different things on my calendar and had forgot that I blocked off that time. Well, I'm going back and I'm revisiting it, and I want to do what Miss Dorothy Guy and Miss Fran Maxwell said, right? Start like you're going to finish. And when you start it, do your very best to complete it, or wait till you have the mindset to even start it. Reese says, OMG, I started to write about my favorite aunt that is actually in this room. Yes, she taught me never to lend what you don't have to give. Yes, 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 yes. What you don't have. Thanks, Lisa. Reese is my niece. Mm-hmm. Yes. And she's saying that her favorite aunt, Lisa, taught her that. No offense, it's that Lisa, I know it. I lived closer while I was growing up. I know I'm not offended about that, because I tell Lisa all the time, and this is a little tidbit, right? Lisa is closer in age to all of you. And we were wondering how my mom and my oldest sister, I told you my mom had 14 children, right? So Lisa is the baby of the family. My mom and my older sister were pregnant at the same time. And her son was born May 15th, and Lisa was born May 23rd. I hope you don't mind me giving out your birthday. Shout out to Lisa. Happy birthday coming up this month of May. Marcus Guy, happy birthday coming up in a few days, right? I love my Taurus and my May Gemini people, right? Okay, right. In the past 2 years, you have taught me irreplaceable life tools. Thank you for just being gracious, Reese. But I know that this is what I want to say, and about this is that is Lisa's assignment in her mantle. God knows everything he's doing. While my mom had that child that later on in her life, it was for you all. And I'm thankful. I talked to Lisa about this, don't I, Lisa, if you're still there? I talk to Lisa about this all the time, how she is such a blessing to you all, and that she is here and has been set for you all. And I'm thankful for that. You're so gracious, Reese. Love you for that. Yes, beloved. So today, let's celebrate our moms. Let's celebrate, even if they're not here. All of you have celebrated your mom by remembering things that she taught me and things that she did. And you are in a new growth stage. I feel this so powerfully, so prophetically, that we are in new growth stages. And so I'm going to go ahead and share this like you all have been asking me to do. And I thank you. I thank you guys for sowing seeds. Some of you say, Dr. E, I don't even have any place to sow seed. I have no place to tithe. I'm a tither, and I still love giving. So please, and there are other people like us that want to give but don't know how. That's all the different ways you can give through the website, ElonaStandis.com. If you click online giving or the shop the shop tab. You can sow there. You can sow at PayPal. You can sow at Cash App. You can sow at Zelle. And those are all the way you can sow seed. And I appreciate it because it helps me continue to do this. There are many expenses. Even though I'm in my home doing this, there are subscriptions, annual, monthly subscriptions, equipment. I still want to buy camera equipment, need new It's just things that need to be done. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all sowing seed each week that you come. And you know, I love to work with numbers, and I want to work with the sevens again today. I just feel to work with the sevens again today. And I want to just deal with $7.77 or 77.77. Anything with the variation of 7, tap into your heart. Let your heart guide you. And then in the comment, I want you to put new growth seed, new growth seed. And I'm going to thank you and release the word of the Lord for you. However, the Spirit is prompting at the time. I just believe in that as my way of saying thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sowing seed. All right, lovelies, I'm going to release you. SSLers, tomorrow at 12 noon. We will be there tomorrow at 12 noon. All right? Have a blessed, wonderful, amazing rest of your day and enjoy this day. Let it be joyful. Let it be happy. All right, lovelies. Bye-bye.